Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about consciousness. The whole universe is inside of you, not outside of you. So stay with me here. This is going to be a bit of a deeper video. So when we think of consciousness, our conscious awareness, it's everything that we see and feel and do and think in this world. It's like what we are conscious of, what we can see through our sentient senses, right? Touch, feel, sight, sound. That is what we feel is the tangible, real universe, because we can feel it through our senses. That's what we're aware of. That's consciousness. What we feel, what we think, right? All of these things are our conscious awareness. And so as we know, there's many things that delve within the subconscious, things that we're not aware of as well, okay? When we talk about consciousness, awareness, it is you. It is you. It's not something happening in the world. It's something happening inside you, and that is how you perceive the world. So yes, there is a real, concrete, tangible world. Yes, there are other human beings walking around. Yes, all of these things are so-called real. However, the only realness, the only life that they have comes from you, right? If you are not aware of them, they do not exist. As soon as you become aware of something, it exists. So you're saying, yes, but life exists on all these other planets and I'm not aware of it. Yes, but you've read in books, you've seen TV shows that life exists on other planets. So therefore you are aware of the thought of that. So therefore it exists for you. So if it exists for you in your conscious awareness, whether you're seeing it, touching it, feeling it, tasting it through your senses, or you've learned about it, heard about it, you've seen it on TV, you've seen it on a video, you've read about it in a book, someone's talked to you about it. It's all part of your conscious awareness now, which makes it real. So anything that you know about in this world only has life because you give it life. It's the meaning you give it, the perception you give it. Okay, it's only here because you can see it, you can think about it, you can experience it, or you can just anything, you can think about it. So your consciousness, the whole universe exists inside you, not outside of you. There's things that exist in this world and you don't know about them, but they don't exist to you. They're not part of your awareness or conscious collective awareness. You don't know about them. They don't exist. They might as well not exist in your universe. The only things that exist in this entire universe, whether it's here or over across in India or out in space or wherever, is because you've seen it or experienced it or heard about it or thought about it or imagined it, whatever. It's part of your reality, your awareness. The universe is you. It exists inside of you. So that's the first thing to know. We are all fractals of God. So some people don't like the word God because it implies religion. So use the word source, okay? Some people say source consciousness. Some people call it God consciousness. We're all fractals of the source, of the whole. You can call it God, you can call it source, whatever you choose to call it. We are all pieces of the whole reflecting back to itself. Different ways that it can experience conscious awareness to itself. We're all part of it. So in essence, we are source. We are God. We are a piece that reflects our conscious awareness back to the whole. And that's why there's all this talk about we are all one. We are all oneness. We all live in oneness. That's true because we are all literally part of the whole. We're part of the whole conscious awareness. And the only reason that we reflect back different things, different conscious awareness, is because consciousness or source or God wants different ways to reflect back. It wants to be able to and needs to be able to see all sides, all viewpoints, all conscious thought and perceptions. And so everybody who, you can have two people, even twins, looking at the exact same thing, experiencing the exact same thing, and they are experiencing it or perceiving it slightly different. So their reactions and what's happening inside reflect back to source slightly different. And that's why we're all unique, we're all important, we're all part of the one, we're all part of the whole. And so you are part of source, you are God, you're a fractal of everything that is oneness. So if everything exists inside you and you are part of the whole, only reflecting back what you are aware of, right? And what you know, what you feel, what you can experience, see, touch, the taste, sound, then everything that you feel, think, create, everything going on in your universe is you. It is you. It's your reflection and perception of what's happening. You create it. You are the universe. You are the world. You are creating this experience that you're having on earth. Yes, because of past patterns. Yes, because of things that you've been taught. Yes. But you could literally just decide to jump timelines, jump realities, and be somebody new. You could just decide, I am not, a female living here doing whatever. That's, we have all this crazy stuff going on in the world right now where people just change their genders, they change their identities, they just decide they're somebody different. That's not the identity they want to live in, and they change. They want to perceive something different. This is when people have these like midlife crises and get up and move, change careers, change their life, change who they're married to, what they're doing. They just decide to jump timelines. And you could do that too. You could say, but you don't even have to make a big change. You don't have to make a change to your physical appearance. You don't have to make a change to where you're living or your job or anything. You could just decide you are changing, that you are different. You could just decide, I used to be a quiet person and now I'm a confident person. I used to be a sick person and now I'm a healthy person. You can just make these decisions with enough will and veracity and like confidence inside to just jump and create what you want. Just changing locations. Okay, so we are our patterns. We're basically just a collection of electrical patterns and vibrations and energy. We're used to running a certain way. And that's why we have all these triggers. That's why everyone's affected by triggers. Everything triggers them. Triggers them to feel sad. It triggers them to feel mad. It triggers them to react this way or do this. Or they wake up and do these things because they're just running energetic patterns and repeating them over and over. And when something comes up against us that causes us any kind of stress, our body just reacts. It reacts to a trigger, an outside stimulus. And we just start behaving in certain ways that were programmed. But at any choice, at any step along the way, you could just decide not to react. Like, I don't have to react to that. And I'm the type of person who no longer reacts to that. You can switch your whole mental consciousness by believing something or not believing something, by choosing something or not choosing something, by identifying with something or not identifying with something, right? By acting in a certain way or not acting in a certain way. You have all this power. You are the creator because you are creating everything. Everything exists inside you, which gives you all the power, which means everything that you can think of is available to you. That's why there are people who are rich and living out their dreams and have everything they want and can do these amazing things that you can't even imagine doing because they created it. They created it for themselves. That's why you have other people who are living in poorness or lack or illness. And these are also all states of energy, choices, patterns. These are ways of being and reacting. And it's basically not, it's living in a lower vibrational frequency where we allow this to take place, where we allow our thoughts of lack and, right, it's when we allow all these thoughts of lack and sadness and sickness, and when we start to identify and act in certain ways and believe certain things, and when the patterns recreate themselves and run themselves subconsciously, we have created this. And at a drop of a moment, with enough insight, with enough knowledge, with enough confidence, and not having doubt in this, but true confidence, we can just revise who we are, what we believe, how we act, what timeline we're living on. Are we a sick person or are we a healthy person? But when we choose it, this is the problem, when we choose it or we try to manifest it by calling it into being or assuming it or believing it, and the reality doesn't change, the 3D world doesn't change, our symptoms are still there, we are still dealing with it, and we start to keep looking at it. We're breathing life. Every time we look at it, we're breathing life into it, right? We're breathing consciousness into it. Every time we're stuck with it, we now fight it, we deny it, we reject it, we disown it, we try to fix it. We're just growing it. We are literally growing it. We're doing it. And then we're mad at ourselves. Now we're in the frequency of anger and frustration. And when we start to feel like a victim and we fall into victimhood, and all of these states are normal, natural. You're in a cycle, like this a snowball going downhill, and you can't really stop it, right? Because you keep looking at it. You keep breathing life into these lower vibrational frequencies and energies and thought patterns and emotions. So what we choose to focus on grows. What we resist also grows, right? What we resist persists. What we focus on grows. And this is true, but even when we focus on things that we don't want, we grow it. So we're in these subconscious and conscious states of awareness, vibrational states, energies that are stuck and cycling and repeating and overflowing, but we can take our conscious awareness. We can take the part of us that is the fractal of God, that is connected to the source, to the whole, that is the all-encompassing power of the only universe that is created inside you. And we can create a new one. We can look at different things. We can taste different things. We can smell different things. We can see different things. We can point our sentient senses, right, in new directions. We can get involved in new things. You can, right now, take all of your senses, look at something different, smell something different, taste something different, feel something different, go somewhere. You can take your emotions. You can change them. Emotions aren't you. They're not the real you. A lot of people think I am anxious, right? I am sad. You are the I am. The I am is so powerful. It's like whatever you say I am, then you are. You have created it, but you're not your feelings. How do I know this? Every time you have a feeling and or an emotion, no matter how long and deep and intense it is, it always passes. And when it passes, you're not dead, you're still here. So you're not your emotions, you're not your thoughts. Because no matter how long you have a thought, eventually you have a new thought. And when your thoughts change or when you cease to think at all, you still exist. Therefore, you're still here. You're not your thoughts, right? You're not your sensations in your body, because even though they feel like they will never end and they're ravaging you and you feel intensity from them, when they switch, you are not there. Who is the one looking? Who is the one noticing the sensations, noticing the symptoms, noticing the thoughts, noticing the emotions, noticing the feelings, noticing the things that you're doing with your five senses? You know, when we say the past, that you can revise the past, it's because if you never think of a memory again, it ceases to exist, because the past doesn't exist unless you think about it or somebody reminds you of it. The past doesn't exist unless you think of those past memories and breathe life into them. So you can revise your entire past by saying you are a different person. This is what revising past memories is all about. You can take away those memories that you have of these traumas in your life by just never thinking about them again. and they don't have life, or by changing them into something that you remember fondly, something that you remember happily, something that you remember that builds you up into having a different life, right? If you were poor, because if you're poor now and you grew up around people who were poor and had a lack and you have all this trauma, you could just imagine yourself having grown up in a reality where everyone was rich and money came easily and you felt totally secure and loved and you had all these opportunities. You could create that with your thoughts. You don't have to relive what actually happened with your thoughts. You're choosing your thoughts. You are choosing your thoughts. Now, sometimes we have thoughts, sometimes we have things when we sleep, but why don't we remember our dreams, right? We wake up. Our subconscious, sometimes we remember these dreams. They're crazy, they're intense. We feel all these things happen, and we wake up and we don't remember them. They never happened. The subconscious just lets it go. We don't have to keep reliving that. It's the same with real life. The past is no longer exists. The future doesn't exist. So you do not have to live or think about a past anymore that bothers you. You don't have to have that past. You don't have to have a future in which you're worried about. You can create any future. This is what future visualization and creation is all about. And visualizing, you can create what you want powerfully, or you could just stay here, right now in the present moment and not think about the future at all, not think about the past at all. Just be here and create what you want now, powerfully. Focus and do what you want. But when the reality doesn't reflect what you're thinking, you're in resistance, you're in fighting, you're trying to fix, change, and you're breathing life into what you want to fix and change. So I know this sounds like oversimplistic, but when the reality, right, the mirror isn't reflecting what you're thinking, what you're doing, the new changes that you're making, it's because reality takes time. It lags behind. But if you do it with enough consistency for long enough, without doubt, without all this doubt and going back and forth and falling into those old patterns, the victimhood consciousness, the sadness, the anxiety, the depression, the hopelessness, if you can stay out of these emotionally draining and lower vibrational states because you believe, you have faith, you trust that by staying in alignment with who you are, who you know yourself to be as the creator, as you can have and be and do anything you want, including the best health and the most amazing relationships and health and body, and you can feel good. And if you just believe that and stop doubting that when reality says no, you can't, you have to be stronger because you are the creator, and reality is just going to keep reflecting back to you the mirror. It's not instant, it takes some time. But if you look in the mirror and you see someone who's healthy, vibrant, and then your senses reflect that, your actions reflect that, your emotions reflect that, your thoughts reflect this new, healthy, healed, 100% feeling good, mind, body, and soul in your body. If you continue to hold that energy, that vibrational state, those thoughts, those emotions that go along with that, reality has no choice but to eventually reflect this back to you. It has no choice. But it's when we think it, we want to think it, we want to believe it, we're trying, but then we keep looking back. We keep trying to fix, we keep trying to solve, we keep falling down the rabbit hole, falling into victimhood, not being able to pull ourselves up, not actually changing the pattern or the state. We want to, we're trying to, but we're not actually doing it. But if we truly reflect, if we truly consciously believe and perceive to be healed and healthy, our body will reflect that. Reality has no choice but to reflect that. If we're truly doing everything every day, the emotions, the behaviors, and I know this is hard. It seems like, well, how can I though, when I just can't ignore how intense or horrible this is being. But if you're focused on how intense and horrible it's being, you're getting more intense horribleness. So it's the only way to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle. Breaking the cycle of anything is hard. That's why People smoke their whole lives, right? They don't break the cycle, or they're overweight their whole life. You have to actually break it. The breaking of a conscious or unconscious pattern or reality or awareness or identity is hard because it takes work. You have to be strong in your will, in your intention, and then in your following thoughts, feelings, and actions. But it can be done. This is what instantaneous healings are all about. They just have decided, mind, body, heart, and soul, that they've had enough suffering and they aren't that person anymore. They're a different person, mind, body, and soul, and the body reflects that. Most people need to do this in steps and stages. It takes time. But anything that you want, anything that you can create is available to you because it's inside your conscious awareness, and anything that is part of your conscious awareness means it's part of you. You are your consciousness. You are the universe. You are creating everything that exists. So therefore you can create perfect health. You absolutely, positively, 100% can do this. When you think your external circumstances are creating something within you, that's false. When you're saying, but they're doing this, they're saying this, they said this to me, they did this. It's like if that didn't already exist inside you as a problem, it wouldn't have triggered you. You wouldn't be reflecting back that you're upset about it, right? If somebody said to you, oh, you're a dog, are you actually a dog? You already know that you're not. No part of you consciously believes that. So you don't even pay that thought, like that thought a second motion. Like 5 people could say that to you on the street and you'd be like, that's weird, but you would just let it go. You would just continue to live your life. It wouldn't affect you in any way. But if somebody came up to you and said, like, you're ugly, or you are fat, even if you're thin, but you look in the mirror sometimes and think that you're fat, then you might go internalize that statement and say, I am fat, maybe I am fat. It would bother you, or, if like you're dumb. But if that wasn't part of your conscious awareness, you wouldn't hold on to it. You're reflecting. All these people and things going on in the external are all just what you are reflecting to yourself. So when I say there is nobody here but you, there is nobody here but you. You are the person reflecting and creating all of it. You are the consciousness, the awareness. There is nobody here but you. It only exists inside you because you think it or feel it or see it. You are reflecting all of reality. There's nobody here but you. Every thought, every emotion, every sensation, every symptom, every feeling, right? All of it is you reflecting back to you. There is no one else here but you. There is no diseases. There is nothing else. This is you. So how you are responding, reacting, perceiving it, indulging it, breathing life into it is why it exists, is how it exists. If you cease to think about it or be aware of it or have it in your conscious awareness at all, it ceases to exist. All of it ceases to exist. The illnesses cease to exist. We are breathing life into these things with our thoughts, with our emotion, with our attention, with our fixation, with our resistance, with all of it. It is you. There is nothing else here but you. Consciousness is you. You are part of source consciousness, of God consciousness. You are a fractal of the whole. You are reflecting a different portion of reality back to the whole, but you could have any of it. You could be any of it. You are not just a piece. You could be any part of it. Your awareness, your conscious perception could be one of immense wealth, happiness, joy, health, if you choose it, if you breathe life into that, if that is what your conscious awareness is. So I'm not saying that this is easy, that this is something you can just do or think once. These are patterns. This is energy. Everything is energy. You are energy. Source is energy. God is energy. The energy is right now at a low vibration, at a negative vibration, is stuck, is not moving properly. We can shift our energy by shifting our focus, by shifting our thoughts, by shifting our vibration, by believing, by having faith, by knowing. You can choose. You can choose. You can decide to know that you are everything, that you can have everything, that you can be everything, that you are already healed. You can choose this. This is in your awareness. This could be part of your conscious awareness. If you believe it, if you choose it, if you decide to act as if, then you can be, right? It's the doubts, it's the vibrational energy that is keeping you stuck. But since you are all energy, you have the ability to be any of the energies, think any of the thoughts, feel any of the emotions. You can decide and know and choose to be the part of consciousness that makes up the higher vibrations, that makes up health. If you want to have health, you can choose to be health. So I know this was a lot on consciousness. I know this is easier said than done, but watch this video a few times. Really come to understand the information in here, because this is what everything is. This is what every healing modality, this is, from journaling to brain retraining, to brain rewiring, to eating healthy, to exercising, to whatever you want to say. It's all a shift. It's all a shift. It's all a shift. And when you believe it consciously, when that becomes you, when it is your consciousness, then that's what you become. So when you choose it consciously, your subconscious will follow. You are in control. There is nothing but you. You are the creator. That's why you can manifest it. You just need to assume it. You just need to believe it and know it and choose it and become it. So I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.